Thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you for all the info that you gave me about where you are and what you're looking for. Let's see if we can get something to see what would be the best way for you to continue your journey. I have a couple of questions for you so I get to know you a little bit better, so I have a better understanding, because when we're designing a plan, the best idea is to design that plan extremely individual to the person needs, and that involves a lot of other things as well, more than just this is how much I weigh, this is what I want, and so on, right? So if you don't mind, I'm gonna be asking you some other questions. All right, so what do you do for a living? Because I know you work some days and then days on, day off, and so on, right?
Yeah, so I'm a tanker driver. I work nights.
Right.
So I work from about 3 p.m. to about 3 a.m. I'm a local driver.
Right.
So I do drive. I do sit down for, I don't know, an hour and a half, and then I get out of the truck. I do the job, and then
Right.
Continue to the next part of my day or whatever.
Got it.
So I'm a truck driver now.
Awesome. Now, when you're saying like you stop and then you do the job, you come out of the truck and so on, it's like a physical work that you do?
Yeah, so I have to get out and so I deliver gas to the gas stations.
Right.
So I have to pull out hoses.
Yeah.
And, it can be somewhat active.
Yeah.
I am moving and bend it over and pick it up and all that. So
Right.
I can't. Sometimes I do, work up a sweat.
Right. Right.
So it is somewhat physical.
Makes sense. Okay, cool. And then you said how many days a week you work doing that?
So I work 4 days a week.
4 days a week. Okay. And what's the shift?
The shift is from 3 p.m. to about 3 a.m.
Okay. Got it. So 12-hour shift. Okay. Yeah. Right on. Okay. And then do you work out? Besides that, you go to the gym?
Yeah, I try to work out. I got a little at-home gym.
Right.
And I try to do something. I'll be honest, there'll be days where,
Right.
The night before was very
Right.
long, and I get home and
Right.
I gotta go straight to sleep, and I have to wake up and go to work. So sometimes, like this week, I did miss 2 days of my workout.
Right.
But I do try to. I get up. I do my at least my cardio.
Right.
And I'll throw in some kind of exercise. Maybe it'd be like a pull-up day or
Right.
a push-up day or something like that.
Right. Right.
And then on my days off, I do some lifting, whatever I feel like doing that day. If it's
Right.
a leg day or a shoulder day or something like that. So I do try to stay active.
Right. Got it. Now, another thing is when you said you do cardio, how long you do it and what's the intensity you would say it is?
So I have the treadmill incline.
Right.
And so on my setting, it's like at a 3.5.
Right.
Is a pretty good walk.
Yeah, speed. Yeah, the pace.
And then I'll do that at least 45 minutes, and if not, I'll push it to the hour.
Right.
So if I cut it at 45 minutes, then I'll do some either bench press or push-ups.
Got it.
I'll throw another
Something else.
Yeah, 30-40 minutes of like strength.
Got you.
You want to call it that.
Okay. And you said you do that like how many times a week usually, the cardio?
So the cardio, I'll do it about. So when I'm working, I'll do it 3 times a week when I'm working. And
Right.
I might miss one day because I'm just tired.
Right.
And then I'll jump back on it on my days off, which is Thursday, Friday. So let's say an average, I'll probably do like 4 days a week.
Right on.
Give or take maybe 5 or
Okay.
depending on how I'm feeling.
Right on. Okay. Now, regarding the way you eat right now, right? How many meals a day usually you have? Normally, average.
So, I think I'm at 3.
3.
So I wake up and I go on my way to work. I have like a big bowl of fruit, protein shake, and then somewhere around 6 o'clock, I'll have my first big meal. And
Right.
that consists of like either a big salad, lots of vegetables.
Right.
And my protein, I'm having like 3 pieces of tilapia,
Mm-hmm.
3 eggs, or
Mm-hmm.
4 eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll have like maybe around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'll have a coffee and like a protein bar.
Right.
And then I'll finish out. I'll finish out till I get home. And then when I get home, I guess it's kind of like my dinner. And
Right.
I have same kind of thing. Maybe like a big salad.
Right.
Like three pieces of tilapia.
Right.
Maybe I'll do like an egg wrap or something like that. And then
Okay.
pretty much I go to sleep.
Right.
The only problem I do have is when I go to sleep. Sometimes I will wake up and it's like I can't go to sleep. Like I'm still hungry. I try to fight.
You're starving, right?
Well, it's like I don't know. Like I can feel it in my biceps. I feel like really weak, and I'm
Yeah. Makes sense.
And I'll start. Maybe I'll get like a snack.
Sure.
Try to stay within maybe some fruit or maybe a protein shake.
Yeah. Perfect. Yes.
So I don't know if that's kind of the problem is I don't know if I'm under my protein intake or what. I kind of need some guidance.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Great. Well, thank you for all the background again, the info. Now, before we go to what I'm observing about the process where you at, let me ask you, where is that you would like to be at? What do you want to go? I mean, what would you like you to happen with your body and everything else? What's your goal?
So my goal is to really trigger the midsection. I've always had a difficult time getting that last layer of
Right.
belly fat,
Right.
especially at the bottom of the abs and the
Right.
midsection. I would like to get as close as possible to fixing that and just tighten that up a little bit.
Right.
And as time goes on, throughout the year into next year, it'd be great if I could put on a little size. Just
Right.
I'm realistic, I'm not.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not on any PEDs or anything.
Right.
So I know the muscle mass is going to be very, maybe 5 pounds a year. If that.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
So even that, maybe.
Yeah.
So if I could just do that in a healthy, natural.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. And like I did a cut before, and the cut was great, but man, I was completely depleted. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
I lost a lot of weight, but
Yeah.
I lost a lot of size.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And then, so in like the long term, it'd be like just, I like to lean out and just put a little size as I go on.
Right.
I'm not gonna be, I'm not trying to get.
No, makes sense.
Pounds,
Yeah.
By the end of this year, I want to be 210. I'm not. No, it's not.
Right. Totally. Well, yeah, that's good. That's good stuff, man. This is what I see so far. A couple of things just to see the big picture. First of all, it's good that you're realistic about where you're at and what you want. And more nowadays with all the huge amount of misinformation that there is right there, that it's sometimes, even if it is good information, is misapplied as well. We get so confused. So what I realized through the years working for 20 something years, in the fitness industry with human beings, is the best approach is individual. So even if we may have some general, like a, in some way solid base for everybody, if you do this, it's going to work that way. But still, the real results comes when you're starting to work tailoring, the plan for that person, specifically for that person needs, and more contemplating all these things that we're talking about. What's your lifestyle? What time you go to bed? At what time you get up? What do you eat? What's your struggle? Well, how do you feel? And on and on and on. Because every human being is like all these pieces that you need to put together to make it work. And so far from your own background, what I see is a couple of different things. You mentioned you're 40, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So at this age, as you very well may know, is when we start to feel really the declining of the hormones, right? So with that said, a bunch of things that we used to get away before, now we're going to start seeing that they start changing. So for example, before doing the same lifestyle, you may keep a little bit more muscle and keep having a good metabolism and burning more fat through the day and so on and so on. You may as well absorb better when you were breaking down the protein and absorb better, the proteins to be able to transform that into amino acids and then into muscle. So you may heal better when basically not that much time of sleep and so on and so on. But as we age, all those things start declining. So gradually, without intention, without even seeing that, we start getting a little bit more soft. We start getting a little more tired. We start not recovering as well as before. We start not to be able to absorb and digest the food as we should. So, and then is when we start, I believe, thank God, because science now, open up to much more knowledge, since there's so much more research now, that we have much more tools to work with as well to try to work with that hormonal balance. And when we're working with that, we are starting to put some things in order that helps at least not to feel the impact of the things that I just mentioned so intense. So, for example, the way that we eat now, it should be a little bit different. And even the timing that we eat now, it should be a little bit different than before. When you mentioned, for example, a key point that when I was asking you about what you eat in a normal day, and you shared that with me, and then you said in the middle of the night, I will wake up and I just feel the urge, to eat. That's not your attitude, basically. It's not like, it's because you just want to eat. It's like your body physiologically is asking you something. It's a message. And usually that happens when we're crashing during the night. When you go to sleep, glucose, the glucose is the fuel that we have in our system, right? Most of the day when it comes with the carbs, right? And then once we are using that glucose, basically your body gets steady. Now, when we are running out of the glucose, then we go to the glycogen, right? The storage of the glucose inside the muscle and also some organs. And then what happened with that is we bring that out to use as energy as well. That's the glucagon going up, basically, right? Then when that happens and that is gone, those crashes, because first of all, before to get to that point, you need to crash from your glucose, then the glucagon is going to go up. And also, when the glucagon goes up to find for those storages of glycogen, also is going to bring up the cortisol levels, for example. The cortisol levels, as you very well may know, is the stress hormone, or the hormone that gives us energy. Now, do we want to have that hormone in the middle of the night? No, not at all, because sadly, that hormone is going to wake you up. It's going to keep you alert. It's going to do all the things that we're supposed to be doing in the morning. But with that, also it's going to cut, for example, the release of growth hormone, which also is another very important hormone that is being released meanwhile we're sleeping, that is going to heal, burn fat, and so on and so on. So how can we avoid that from a strategic point of view is try not to crash through the night. And based on what you shared with me, the way that you are eating right now, that is helping to crash through the night. Because I do believe that right now, because I can see what's your goal. Your goal is to burn the fat in the middle section and get more tone and so on, right? But at the same time, when you are eating such a small amount of carbs, like you're sharing with me, like the salads and this, that I'm not seeing like a substantial continuous, and 3 times with the goals that you have and where you at, I don't think it's going to help you. Actually, it's kind of sabotaging you. Even if we, think, I'm eating less, or now I'm using more. That doesn't happen physiologically in this case. You know what I'm saying? It may be a time that you can do this lifestyle, but where can you get away with this kind of eating where you're doing now? If you would have much more muscle at this point, less fat, and you have more time to sleep and control the resting or the healing through the night. Makes sense? Or meanwhile you're sleeping. Then your body wouldn't get that much affected as it is getting now. You know what I'm saying? Right now you are in another place in which what you're doing is playing against yourself, if that makes sense. So that just from that little point of view. Then we need to review, of course, your training, if it is accordingly with what you're eating, and also the resting patterns and so on. And the first step would be to try to use the tools that we know that they're going to work to try to balance your hormonal system. Once that start happening, then from the inside out, we're going to have more tools on the outside to be able to do the things that you are mentioning, which is the exercise, the cardio, the 3 times a day that I'm going to be. But first of all, we need to do some other groundwork before, which is to really know about what's the nutrients that your body needs. And then to establish a structure, a routine. Know about what you feel, but it's what you need, basically, if that makes sense. And then the same thing with the sleeping patterns, the same thing with the exercise activity, the amount of cardio, the intensity, everything should be related because everything is going to sync with each other. And it's like an orchestra, music. When a couple of instruments are not working well, it's not going to sound good. Even if everybody else is doing their job, it's not going to work. So basically we need to adjust and everybody be on the same tune, and then the results magically, between quotes, because it's not magic, it's science, they're going to start happening if that makes sense.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's kind of, that's kind of where the guidance I need,
Right on, yeah.
To be able to monitor and be pointing in the right direction. Because at this point, I'm kind of, my own results and how I feel, but, it could be very misleading, so.
Yeah, no, and again, I see this all the time, man, and more nowadays. Before, 20 years ago, nobody knew anything, so it was hard because it was a lot of ignorance out there, which is, it was difficult to work and try to educate someone. People wouldn't talk even about what a carb was or protein was or nothing. They didn't know nothing, right? But nowadays, everybody knows it all. So not the people itself, but the system itself is feeding us with so much. And we're trying to make our, like I'm seeing people that doing their best. And this is my point. It's like you're already doing the job. You're already putting the effort. You're killing yourself. You're fighting for it. But still, it's so disappointing because you don't find anything more like a circle, like a hamster, Will. And that's the big disappointment, in which usually it ends in a really bad spot, because usually all the clients that I work with, they end up feeling, oh, it's me. So it's me, individual. I'm responsible. I suck. It works for others, but not for me. No, it's not. That's the case. The case is we need something specific for the specific moment where we're in life, and we need to see exactly what that is. And as we start working with that, then your body will change, and then we need to reassess and see where you are, and we're gonna give you new things, and on and on and on, because if the body that you have right now, we need certain amount of things right now to do. Let's just say that we do it, and I don't know, in 3 months, you're a different person, right? Well, if in 3 months you're a different person and we keep doing the same shit, it's not going to work anyway. So we need to readjust for the new you and start giving this new body the new things, even if it is going to be more or less or gradual or whatever is going to be the case. But always it's a constant state of change, because we, human beings, are in a constant state of change, if that makes sense as well. Right on, man. Well, what I propose is this, because usually this is why I take the time to get to know, like the potential clients that I'm going to be working on or not, just to see if they're in the right place in their life to be able to understand that it's a more comprehensive process, And I believe and see, bottom line, if this is going to be something positive for you or may not. You may need other things or looking for other things. Where you are in life, I think it would be a really good point, because again, you're in a point in which everything is turning right now, right? You're going to start feeling like you're going to feel the decline in more significant about the hormones itself. The good news is you're still really in a good place, because the hormones are going to respond, and human beings always respond when we're doing the right thing. I work with people even from, even 80 years old, and they're still responding, So yeah, it's unbelievable. That my clients are the best teachers, because I can really see physiologically how really, it happens or doesn't happen. And I can guarantee that it does happen, meanwhile we're doing, again, the right thing for that particular individual. So where you are is a really good point. I think to start adding more tools to the new you, because again, if we think about it, makes sense. Every year we're one more year older, right? So if you're 40 right now, you're not 35 anymore. So you're not the same person that used to be, even your spirit may be, your soul may be, your goals may be or different, but the life itself keep moving, and we are different and we have different needs. The good news again is we have the right tools. So what I propose is I'm going to talk to my assistant so she can send you the different options, and I'm going to tell you the options that I feel that they may work for you, and then you choose from there, and then we go from there. Then we start basically working on a plan for you. What we would do is we would send you some material for you to fill out, some forms and so on. Then I'm going to ask you to take some pictures and then some measurements in your body. And then after that, definitely I start working on the design of the plan. And then we are going to do a follow-up. Depends of the option that you're choosing, but usually what I see works is every 2 weeks, kind of like the follow-up, just to see how is it working and keep adapting that process to your changes, basically, and analyzing the week, because again, we always need to base our plans in, like I said before, where we are in life. And this week, like you said, some weeks are gonna be one way, but some weeks can be another way. If I ask you now, this morning, how you doing? You're going to say, oh, I'm good, man. I'm great. But if I ask you tonight, maybe you're going to say, oh, fuck, you don't want to hear. So all that changes. It's fluctuating our hormones all the time. So it's very important for us to adapt as well to what is happening in our life in that particular time, to also adjust the homework, the nutrition, because sometimes we're going to need more carbs than other times. Sometimes we're going to need more protein than other times. Sometimes we're going to need more cardio than other times. Sometimes we're going to need more weight training instead of cardio, and so on and so on. But yeah, that's kind of like the overall picture, man.
Okay. I was going to ask, so like on the website, or not the website, but what else? I see like you do like competitive, like you work with competitors, like on stage competitors.
Yeah. I'm sorry, there's a truck going on right now through the street. I couldn't hear you very well. I hear that you asked me if I do work with competitors, right?
Yeah, like the picture that you have.
Yeah.
Competitors, and you do the cut and you drive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and that's something that I want to mention as well, because when you share with me the way that you were feeling, that's why I was smiling or laughing when you share your story about like when you did that cutting, for that, period of time, and the way you were feeling, and that's exactly the way you're going to feel, because again, sadly, people don't understand, but most of the things that we are seeing, and you do understand a little bit because you share that with me, you're not doing any kind of like, anabolic steroids and so on and so on. So naturally, we cannot be in those stages of being completely dry and maintain the muscle. We cannot, biologically, there's no possibility, unless you're born like that, that is 1 in a million, there's no way. So when that happens, you force your body to be at that state just for a little period of time, for a photo shoot or something like that, but then you're going to be depleting, you're going to be completely, your muscles being eaten alive, your metabolism goes down, you're completely destroying your hormonal system and so on. So the problem that we see with the competitors and so on is like when they're using enhancer, drugs, you can maintain the muscle to a certain extent because they're losing muscle too. But the difference is they build much more muscle when they're losing the muscle. Now, when they get to that point, they feel miserable too. And realistically, you cannot be on that stage for a long period of time either. I mean, that's why usually bodybuilders from the past, like the Golden Era, like Arnold and so on, they're still alive because they stop after that. They just went back like a whole 6 months. They just go back again with like a smaller amount of drugs. Today's society is demanding you to be on that stage all day long. And then that's the way you're seeing dying. I mean, they drop like flies every single, they last a year or so. But of course you can push your body for a certain amount of time. But it's the same me telling you, okay, you have cancer, you need to do chemo. Okay, you're going to do chemo, but you're going to do chemo continuously for 5 years. You will die, man. It doesn't matter what your body can take, So the same thing on the other hand. But it's worse because when you're using the drugs, you're seeing, on the outside, I'm Superman, so inside I should be fine. And you start destroying, cooking inside. And they don't want, even if they know, they don't want to even look at it because it becomes a psychological addiction more than anything else at that point. But definitely that's not the way. My way, I would say, best, alternative if you don't want to use, drugs, which definitely I don't recommend that because it's never going to end up in a good place, is, again, everything is about balance. And balance to me means where we are in life, accept the decade that we are in life, and be realistic about what we're looking for, and be in a place in which you're maximizing, in a healthy range, your hormones. So try to all the good hormones be as high as they can be to maximize the results, but in a natural way. And it is possible. It is possible with a bunch of tools that we have today, and more if you are putting the work on it, of course. But that's the best way. And when you're saying about the fat percentage, I would suggest that the best that I think it's healthy for, most, even athletes, when you are off season, which for a normal person, to me, it's really good, it would be around 15%. Because 15% of fat body percent is guaranteeing you that you're going to have a good metabolism to be able to keep burning fat and not keep accumulating fat. The more fat we have, the easier it is to keep accumulating fat, of course. So, and then a good place to heal, because if you go really low, then you are going to start to deplete instead of healing, right? And then the same way with the muscle mass, and so you build, you maintain, you burn. And then as you progress and you are able to stay on that percentage for a while, then you can, target for a season. It's going to be coming summer, or it's going to be coming, I don't know, whatever is going to be the event that you have, that I want to go a little bit lower. Yeah, you can go lower. And around 10%, you can start seeing those abs. Now, you need to be patient in the process as well, knowing that it's going to take a while to get to that place that you want to be, which is your stomach being flat and so on. Why? Because usually the ones that are going to determine where the fat is going to be stored is our hormones, right? And the hormones in males and females are different, as you very well know. Okay, well, what I observed through the years is usually when we start the burning process of the fat, I'm not talking about the building muscle, the burning process of the fat, start from the top and from the bottom, and then start moving to the center. So let's say that I start doing the right thing and I'm overweight. I'm going to start seeing changes, first of all, in my face, in my neck, in my shoulders, in my arms, right? In my chest eventually. And then from the bottom, it's going to start seeing my calf, on my thighs, and so on. And the last part, because it's a process, but the fat is being burned the same way. When you burn some fat from the chest area, is the same way that you're going to keep burning the fat. When it doesn't have any more fat in the chest, it's going to move down and until you get to the abdomen area, which is the last one to go, usually for males.
So I was going to ask, everything you're saying is really important. I feel the same way. I see the same thing. I see it the same way you are.
Right.
As far as me, for like my whatever custom plan or whatever.
Yeah.
I agree with if it has included carbs and all that, fine, that's whatever.
Right.
How do you do it? Do you go currently right now what I do is I'm just throughout the week I'm pretty much eating the same thing, blah blah blah.
Right.
And one day I give myself a break. It's
right.
A refeed.
Oh yeah.
Or I'll relax a little bit.
Of course.
I'll have a drink or something like that.
Of course.
And then I go back to business.
Yeah.
Next week. Is that something you guys?
Oh, absolutely. I truly believe, I don't believe in extremes. And again, I share this every single, consultation I have. When something it's basically, stiff, like rigid, right? Like even something like a pen is rigid. You just start pulling in that pen and what's going to happen? It's going to break, man. Boom. It's going to break. So it's not going to last. It's not realistic. It doesn't work. Now, when it's something flexible, you just can keep bending it and then it's going to last forever anyway. So this is the approach that I take with everything, because why are we doing all these things? Not just because you want to have the six pack and be a model for the rest of your life and that's it, be immortal, is because you want to enjoy life. You want a good quality of life, you want to enjoy, you want balance, you want the aesthetics, you want everything, right? Well, I mean, if we are just sacrificing our whole life and not being able to live a life, what's the purpose of this? Doesn't make any sense. On the other hand, it's the same way. If you're eating all day long and you're just feeling like shit all day long and you're not enjoying life, doesn't make sense. So it should be, in my humble opinion, is like you're doing this to get the other and you're doing the other to get this. So it should be like a balance, equation. And definitely, I truly believe in day off. I don't even call it cheating day. I don't know why people call it cheating day, because cheating day to me, what does it mean? Is you're cheating, you're doing something wrong. So you're not cheating actually, dude. You're doing your homework and then you're having your day off. Day off actually is going to play in your advantage, because with the day off, what happened is when you're really in a strict diet, let's just say, your metabolism is going to go down. If the metabolism goes down, that means you're not burning as fast, as efficient as you can or you were. Now, when you have your day off and you're having other kind of, calories, and it's going to boost your metabolism. And then when you boost your metabolism, you start burning faster, but then you start again eating basically clean, and then you're burning more, and on and on and on. So from both aspects, physiologically and psychologically, which is the most important, basically, that's why I truly believe in having a day off, because it's like healing. It's like me telling you, go work out nonstop, but don't sleep. Keep working out, man. Keep working out. It's not going to work, dude. You're going to pass. You're going to everything. The brain is all the time sensing us. It's like scanning us. Is emergency mode or is healing mode? That's one of the two. So if it is healing mode, you're repairing. If it is emergency mode, you're destroying. And that's exactly why I do truly believe that it should be that way.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, I appreciate you.
Of course.
And your time.
Of course, man.
Looking forward and
Yeah.
whatever we can.
Yeah, let's start, dude. This is a lifetime process, the important thing is to start, and to me, my job is educate each of us, and keep educating myself, because everything, thank God, keep moving forward. So that's the best way. The more tools we have, the more powerful we get about the